Hey all, I actually am just going to do a quick little blurb about armor sets. Something I just learned recently. I've been gone since uh, pretty much at the final shape I left, and then I came back right about the time they announced that Destiny was going to be shutting down. Um, I actually was encouraged by coming back by that because what used to kill me was all the FOMO and chasing things that were always changing, and I just couldn't keep up with that, especially with my schedule. But when it came to armor, I had been going through trying to find different builds, like um, get my stats set up in different ways. And the thing I recently learned was the armor archetypes and how the, I guess, point values were distributed. Um, what I'm going to say only applies to gear that has the tier 5. The other tier gears, their numbers kind of work roughly the same way, but I can't say with any. It's like you have some variance with it. How some might have 64 points and this one has 66 points, and they're kind of weighted a little bit differently even amongst the same archetypes for the gear. But when it comes to the tier 5 gear, the numbers are always going to be the same. So to start with, the armor sets, let me just, actually let me pull up my vault and pull up some armor. I wonder if I can, oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, the when it comes to the different armors, when it has, actually let me just lock it to tier 5s. What happens is there's 4 main items when it comes to the trying to balance out your gear stats. The first 2 are your primary and secondary, which are dictated by your archetype. And that's the stuff like Grenadier, Powerhouse, Brawler, and like as you can see in this set, Grenadier is the one for this one. And what it is your primary stat will always be 30 points. Your secondary stat will always start at 25 points. Your tertiary, and for this one with Grenadier, you can see that the primary stat, which is the big symbol, is your grenades. Your secondary stat is super, which is the small symbol underneath it. Those are always going to be set. Every set of Grenadier armor will be that. It'll be 30 for grenade, 25 for super. So let me see if I can find another Grenadier. As you see, this one's grenade is at 30, super is at 25. And another one. Let's see. This one. I've actually touched up that one. So let's actually we have a couple reavers here, which is class and melee. So class is at 30, melee is at 25. Class is at 30, melee is at 25. So as you can see, your archetype will always be the same for your primary and secondary stat. Now the tertiary stat is completely random amongst the remaining 4. So like this one's Reaver has class at 30, melee at 25, and health is at 20. While this one is class is at 30, melee is at 25, and weapons is at 20. And this one happens to be the same as earlier on. Class is at 30, melee is at, and health is at 20. Now, the 4th item that can be in there is, notice to the left of the class symbol, you have that little up-down symbol. Here it's next to melee. Let's jump between the other Reaver set. Oh, I'm actually kind of curious about that now. But what that is when you come in to set your gear, that means that that item is the item that you can increase at the cost of something else. So I can get 5 more class points at the cost of whatever's on the bottom. And if you don't want to take a hit on anything, you can always still add 3 to your lowest stat. Now when it comes to upgrading your armor, you can add up to 5 points to your 3 stats that aren't included. Like for this one, grenade, super, and weapons were not included in this build. So if I upgrade, I can work on improving those 3 stats by up to 5 points each. And so from there, that's one way to kind of pad some of your numbers. But then you also have the ability to add whatever stat you want to your armor, either plus 10 or plus 5, depending how many of these little energy points you want to use. And it's kind of stupid to not use the plus 10s on whatever you're doing. But now, since I'm curious, let's see. Let's find an archetype. Let's find. I should have a lot of Grenadier stuff because that's most of my builds use that. So let's see if I can find something where grenade, super, weapons. Actually, yeah, grenade, super, weapons with class. Grenade, super, weapons with weapons. So yeah, that up down 4th stat is completely random also. So your primary will always be that top symbol, your secondary will always be that bottom symbol, your tertiary is random, and then the massage stat is also random. But that's a little gee whiz bit that I learned today, so when you're trying to build out your armor sets, hopefully that's helpful to you. And if you are looking for a set of gear, remember that you can always come down to your ghost and choose whichever option you want. The thing to remember is almost every combination is possible. Each stat has 4 possible ways of being upgraded, whether it's the primary method, the secondary, or the secondary method. There are a handful of combinations that aren't available, where each item has one that it can't do. Like if we look at, like since I'm very big with grenades, we have for grenades here, Grenadier, which is grenade and super. Then we have this one here, Demolitionist, which is grenade and class. But then we also have health and grenades, which is Siege Breaker, where grenades is secondary. And then we also have Gunner, which is weapons and grenades down here, which is grenades being secondary. Now for this, as much as I would have loved it, there is no grenades in melee. That's just not a combination that's in there. And each item, each stat has one thing that it can't group up with. So like for health, you won't have weapons. Melee, you won't have grenade that we already said. Super doesn't have a class joiner. Weapons, as I said, doesn't connect to health, and grenade doesn't connect to melee. And then health, again, weapons. So that went around the circle. I have like this little cheat sheet that I'm working on. I'm not sure if you can see it. My screen tends to cut that out, and I don't want to get rid of my blacking out for the background. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully that helps you with your builds. But have a good one.